Hello, this is Kurtis Zwolinski. This is my case file presentation on Jude Jacob Foster from season 1 of the TV show The Fosters, and this is for my virtual placement. This is my genogram for Jude. It shows his immediate family, such as his 2 new stepmothers, his previous parents, and his new siblings, and it shows connections within his family unit. Hey, so this is my eco map for Jude. Basically, what the eco map does is make a visual representation of what Jude has and the positives that he can look at and also build on that. Jude is a fairly normal kid, apart from him being in a foster home. Not that he's weird because of that, but because it's not a very nuclear aspect. Jude has some friends. He doesn't have many hobbies. He likes to play video games, and he does have quite a few support people in his life. So, yeah. So the social history, the case formulation and presenting problem. Jude was wearing nail polish to school. Not that that's the problem, but he was getting beat up because of it. He also got beat up by his former foster father for wearing a dress. And the main issue is him not opening up about his problems, which will eventually cause them to bottle up, and he will just have a really bad day one day. So he needs to get help and open up. So Jude's family of origin, he has a big sister named Callie who's in his life. His dad is still alive, but he's not in contact with him. He has 2 new foster moms who are in a domestic relationship, Lena and Stephanie. He has 3 step siblings, Brandon, Mariana, and Jesus. He also has step grandparents, Dana Adams, Cher Equin, and Stewart, who are Stephanie and Lena's parents. Social history continued. Birth and childhood for Jude. He was born into a healthy family. Significant relationships was he has a best friend named Connor. General gender and sexual orientation. He is becoming older now and through puberty, and he is becoming gay, as it seems. And his current living arrangements are he lives with the foster family, and they have a very nice, comfortable, safe, loving, warm environment house. Jude is currently attending grade 7. He has one best friend named Connor, and he likes to play video games on his spare time. Jude is actively attending school. He has a strong, caring family. Over the years, he's built up resilience through being in several different schools and foster homes. He's experimenting with his sexuality, example, wearing nail polish. He is happy to be living with the Fosters, but he is very afraid something will go wrong. He may lose the safety and security of his new home. He's only managed to make one friend at school, but at the same time, his new siblings are his friends and supports. And despite not being very popular, he's very excited and happy with his new foster family. So the standard guidelines for practice for carrying out professional duties, this works with Jude by setting solid goals and foundations through therapy and other supports. Secondly, confidentiality. While working with Jude, the very first meeting with Jude or any client has limits and standards why to keep things confidential. This can be told to Jude immediately upon treatment. So when it comes for advocating for workplace conditions, the school that Jude goes to is pretty clean. It's pretty it's nice and clean, and it's a good place for him to be. And the best interest for change in the client, I'd say safe housing for Jude. Jude has really safe housing, so everything is good and safe. So within the training modules, the risk assessment and safety planning with infants, children, and youth. Basically, CAS would do this, and they would look at the home and the school and plan to make sure that all situations are safe and okay. So when it comes to domestic violence, Jude is a victim of this, where at his former foster home, he was wearing his foster father's ex-wife dress, and there was an incident where he was assaulted, and his big sister Callie had a breakdown after that. So for Jude and sexual violence from the training module, if Jude was put in a position where he was being sexually violated in any way, CAS would come in and stop this. So in the training module, it goes in depth on different aspects of that. In relation to this training module, Jude's older sister Callie, phone and Facebook page, Instagram page, whatever have you, was getting tracked by a stalker who had intent to do her harm. So That's one aspect relating to this training module. Behavior support plan. The presenting problem, Jude is looking for a permanent home that is safe. He does eventually find that. He's getting sensations drawing him towards being gay in the LGBTQ community. I think the major problem with Jude is he doesn't open up and talk about his issues, and I think that's going to lead to some problems down the line. So I think it can be more challenging for Jude or not, depending on the amount of guidance he has with his body and being able to openly talk about that. So when it comes to threat to others, if Jude did have a breakdown, it would make the fosters look very irresponsible. It could also potentially put him back into the system of juvenile hall or the foster care system. There was actually another incident where Jude became angered at his sister's relationship with Brandon, who is their foster sibling, because it puts their new home and safety at risk. So for precipitating factors, settings, or events, there are some settings where Jude could be judged, not just at school, but at any time, at home, at school, and on the street. I believe he needs therapy or counseling. One major trigger or setting of a trigger could be the date of the accident that his parents had, and also flashbacks and bottled up emotions. So some triggers for Jude to watch out for would be a stressful day at school, lots of assignments, trying to get good grades, the anniversary of going to different homes, as well as his parents' accident, his big sister going to juvie and then to the group home Girls United, or when he has a fight with his best friend Connor, and yeah. So the big thing with anxiety is to understand it. So this can be done by monitoring the time of day and the duration. Also to look at Jude with a positive strength-based approach when Lena is telling him it's okay to wear nail polish. When it comes to Jude being on the defensive, I think that rapport is a really huge thing within his family and different workers that he has. Also, I think it would be a directive for him to be taught how to breathe and meditate using mindfulness, and knowing this and having all this kept confidential at the same time. So one incident of Jude acting out is when he yells at his sister Kaylee for risking their safety in their new house. One emergency response plan would be to have everyone in the family educated and trained to know what to do in the event of a crisis and response plan. Not just for Jude, but for their whole family in general, for their whole lives. So for tension reduction with Jude, I think a PRN would help him for anxiety. And for therapeutic rapport, just to be open and honest with him would be a good tactic in learning rapport and achieving that. SMART goals for Jude in the 7 domains of care. The first SMART goal is identity. So research P-flag for the client to provide them further information on LGBTQ services and be able to serve the client to the best of my abilities regarding gender identity and sexuality. The reason for this is to gain insight into the LGBTQ community for myself being a more efficient worker. SMART goal number 2, family relationships. Assess his level of wellness due to experiencing a history of violence within his past foster family. The reason for this is because he was abused, and as a worker to create a healthy environment for him to flourish. SMART goal number 3, social relationships and supports. Maintain positive supports and assist client in building bridges and relationships. Jude is currently in a safe situation and stable environment, and I would like for him to maintain the positive supports he currently has. Goal number 4, physical and medical health. Make sure Jude is staying up to date with physical and medical needs such as a flu shot or metabolic monitoring. The reason for this is to make sure Jude's physical and medical needs are being met and they are made to be a healthy lifestyle. Goal number 5 for Jude, social and emotional development. Identify Jude's strengths so that he can build on them and his confidence. This is done to ensure Jude builds his confidence and show him his own strengths, skills, and abilities in difficult times. Goal 6, education progress. Assist Jude in bringing up his grades. Although Jude does attend school, I want him to excel and get the most of his academics. Goal 7, independence and self-care skills. Educate Jude on all domains of self-care and their importance. As human beings, we need to practice all aspects of care to be functioning in society. 6 treatment resources and recommendations I have compiled for Jude are firstly the Rainbow Youth with Parn. It's a weekly drop-in group. This would be a good resource for Jude because once a week attendance will help with his routine and be able to be himself as a safe, empowered environment. Youth Line, call, text, or online. It's a non-judgmental peer support network. I have chosen this recommendation for Jude because it can be a good resource if he needs to talk to someone in a way that can be accessed anyway, and learn with person-first operators to support him and himself, and even if he's just having a bad day, he can contact. The third recommendation I think that would be good for Jude would be the Rainbow Service Organization, as they have many events and links based around LGBTQ. I think he would benefit from this organization to connect with local community of LGBTQ and go to all sorts of events, making him feel welcomed. The fourth one is Psychology Today. This would be for locating counseling for Jude using this resource. I would work with the client to address what they think they're comfortable with when addressing PTSD and being gay. The fifth recommendation is Camp Firefly, which is a summer camp for queer youth. It's 3 nights long. This would be good for Jude because it will help him develop skills and personal resiliency. The sixth one is the CMHA, Journeying Together Family Support. He could benefit from this program by educating his family and himself and understanding what he's going through as he's growing up. References, reference page.